guys, Salut, tous. Today we're going to play around with micashift again. I know, but I absolutely love micashift. It never gets old for me anyway. I want to play around with the micashift fade technique, which basically is using a polymer metallic clay and doing a micashift with that, and then blending it into a solid color clay, in this case black. Now I want to do something that resembles a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. And so for the solar eclipse, I'm using these two colors, and for the lunar eclipse, I'm using these two colors. Now, the photo you saw in the intro, that was only with the Cernit metallic white, and I didn't. It was a bit boring for me, so I'm gonna use the main color is going to be this Cernit metallic silver. And for the lunar eclipse, sorry, for the solar eclipse, I'm going to be using this Cernit copper and Cernit rust. Okay, now the translucent is here because I always mix my metallic or pearl clays with roughly half and half with translucent clay, because basically the more translucent you have it in the clay, the more light is allowed into the clay to bounce off the microparticles, which creates a shift. Okay, but in this case, not for the Cernit metallic white, because if I add the translucent in that, then it's only basically going to dull. It's just going to dilute the mica shift. So I'm going to basically put in roughly half and half of the silver, the copper, and the rust. Okay. And now for the lunar eclipse, I'm going to use this stamp here. It kind of resembles craters for me. And for the solar eclipse, I think I'm probably going to use this. This is not, I don't have a stamp that I really want to use with it, but this one I think best would capture kind of the heat of the sun. Okay, we're also going to need silver and gold metal foil, and we're going to need a flexible blade and a rigid blade. All right. Okay, so I guess we can get started. Okay, so I have my clay all conditioned. Okay, we have the Cernit, here's the black, and this, oops, this got a bit dirty. And the Cernit white, silver, rust, and copper. Okay, and I'm going to work on the, I don't know if I said it already, but I'm going to work on the lunar one first because I know I'm going to use this stamp. And I already have rolled out on a number 9, Cernit translucent on a number 9, and I've already put the silver foil on it. Okay, so I have it resting here upside down so that the paper doesn't leach any oil out of the translucent. Okay. Right, now if you're new to my channel, first, welcome, thank you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon below so you get notified of my videos and any posts I make. And if you're new to micashift, basically micashift is playing around with the alignment of mica particles, which gives a 3D effect. Mica particles are flat, and so like here, these are all lying in one direction, and then when I put a stamp or anything or interfere with the alignment of the mica particles, then that will give me the design. Okay, and of course also, like I said, with adding the adding the translucent clay adds the translucency of these colors and lets more light in, and then the light will bounce off the mica particles again. So it's laying flat here. If I put something in there, then it's going to change the alignment of the mica particles, and it's going to add a shadow because it's brightest when the mica particles are flat, and when they're on an angle or vertical, they're not as bright. They don't reflect as much light. Okay, now let's get on. So I'll put this aside for the moment. And again, like I said, I'm going to concentrate, do on camera the lunar one, because I know I want to use that step. So here I have white and the silver. Now I don't need all of this, and I'm going to be using, of course, a circle cutter because I like circles and I just love circle pendants. This one here, this one I believe, hold on now, let's see how big it is. I think it's 6 centimeters, and yeah, it's 6 centimeters. All right, so I'm going to get my black and leave this, no, to the side here. And then I'm going to do the silver. Now I want quite a nice blend, but not too big and not too small because this isn't a huge space. So I'm going to overlap this by about that much. Can you see? Or maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay. And then I think this is going to be too much. So, oops, wrong blade. Yeah, this is going to spread in the machine as well. So I'm going to cut off this amount here. And then add just a little bit of this white. So there's a slight color blend here as well. And cut that off. About here. And the black about here. This is all going to stretch again in the machine. And I'm going to cut this off. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to cut that off. Okay, so now put that aside. Let me put this black aside for the other one, the solar. Oops. And there's my translucent. Okay, now actually I don't need all of this, so I'll cut that off. I'll separate those after. I'll do it now. And here as well. Okay, so I get my roller and make sure it is clean. I'm just going to give this a gentle roll just to make sure these are attached to each other so they're not going to come apart or split in the machine. There we go. Now also, I had a bit of time. This is actually my second time filming this. This is why I made this pendant last night, because it took me a while to condition the clay, because some of the clay was firmer than the other clay. So I had to put a bit of Cernit magic mix in it, and then I had to leach the softer clays. So anyway, that's with that. And then it got too late for me to film, so I just played around and made, again, this pendant here. But anyway, so this is my second time doing it, but I'm glad I did it because I think I really prefer the silver and not just the white alone. Right, okay. So now I'm going to fold this over color to color. And now I'm concentrating on keeping the black and the silver aligned. I don't really mind about this down here, but I'm really concerned about keeping this aligned. Now I'm going to show you as well now, because I don't want this stretching out too wide. Where'd it go? I had it in the machine. Did it go somewhere? Ah, here we go. I have these magnets, and I lay them in the roller, between the rollers of my pasta machine. I'll put a photo up here. I find that it really helps to keep the clay compacted instead of widening, and it gives it, when it gets wider, then of course this gets narrower. So anyway, I always put this in. Okay, and I'll show you. I have the slide. I'll put a photo up here again. But this is great because I don't have a machine and I only have two hands. So I need one hand to crank the roller, and one hand to hold the clay. So I lay my clay on this and it just goes down smoothly. And this is just printing paper. I just have it taped in place. So it's great. If it was just a metal, then the clay would grab on it and it would stretch it. But putting the paper on is absolutely fantastic. It's great if you only have two hands, like most people. Okay, so my machine, this is rolled out onto a 1. So I'm going to, my machine's already set on a 1. So I'm going to bring it through on a 1. And again, fold color to color. Again, I'm going to keep this black. Again, I don't mind about this because I want this to blend in, be a very gentle color blend. And put it through again. And again, I'm putting on the rollers like that. Now I have that started. I'm going to bring my machine down to a 3. The thinner your clay is, the faster it will it'll blend. Okay, so a 3. Actually, I shouldn't have folded that. Let me unfold that. Put it through on a 3 like this. Voila. And continue. Now I'm going to continue this. It's going to take probably 20 to 30 times, I think. And then I'm going to bring it back to a number 1. Okay, so I passed this through much more than 30 times. I'm happy with the blend here, and this is the blend that I want to concentrate on. This blend, now this is going to look, it may be more blended on the inside, but I had trouble with this blend quite simply because this clay is firmer than these clays, so that's okay. I don't need it really. I'm going to concentrate up in here anyway. So, pardon my head. Round about there. Right, so I'm going to cut off the excess clay. Don't want to waste my clay because once I put the silver foil on it, it limits me what I can use the clay again for. Okay. So I still have this. That wasn't a very good cut, was it? Voila, so I'll put this aside. Okay, and I can take this off as well. All right, so I have here the silver with the translucent, and I'm going to put that on there and hope there's no air pockets. And I think we are okay, or there might be one there. No, I think we might be okay. Just in case, I have my really small thin needle tool. I'm just gonna poke little holes if I think there's an air in there. This is actually a number 00 specimen pin, insect specimen pin. This is like for mosquitoes. This is the thinnest you can get. So this is great for making very small holes. Now I'm going to get a piece of paper. This one, I believe, had black on it. When I was leaching the black, I don't want to put black on it. Let me see. This one here. Okay. Now I'm going to give this a really good burnish. I want to make sure that silver foil is well adhered to the clay underneath. Okay. Now, ideally, I would let this sit as well. I would let the clay. I don't know if it makes any difference or not. I kind of think it does. If you leave it to sit on the clay for a little bit, the clay kind of attaches itself to it, and it has less of a chance of coming off when you put it through the pasta machine or whatever. But I don't know. It could just be me. I could be wrong, but I think it does make a bit of a difference. But I'm not going to do that now because I don't have the time to let it sit. Okay, there we go. Could use it for something else, I don't know. Now, I need this just now. I don't need that. Now what I want to do is I want to see what part of the stamp I want to use. Now, I know from this, I want to use the crater part here. And I believe that was up here. Yes, it was. It was about here. So I know I want to use this part of the stem. Okay, and I want the black up the top. Now, this is my rigid blade. I'm going to lift this up. Okay. And before I do anything, I'm going to get a bit of water. Even though this is silicone, it doesn't tend to stick in this, the clay doesn't tend to stick, but it's always good to be safe than sorry. Just give us a really, really fine spritz of water. You can barely even see it. All right, now my black is here, and I know I want that there. Is that right? Nope, I'm upside down. Okay. Maybe I'll do it this way. I think we'll do it this way. Okay. Now, push that in. Now I always use my, this is a facial sponge. I got off Temu. They came in a pack of 3. They were dirt cheap. This is dirty. I have another 2 I could actually use, be a bit cleaner, but anyway, this is fine for now. But this is great. It doesn't, it pushes the clay in all the little recesses, and it's really, really good to do that. Also, you can just lay the clay on the stamp and roll it right away like this, and it won't budge. You won't get a double image. So let's give that a good roll and roll it the other way. Let's have a look. Okay. So now I'm going to lay this down on my, hold on a minute, make sure this is dry, because this is a damp sponge. And in fact, I'm going to put it back in the bag. Don't want it to dry out. I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of water. Keep it moist and put it away. Okay. Now, lay this down. Make sure it is well stuck onto my table or my work surface. Okay, and then we can just peel it up. Okay, now flexible blade. Actually, I'm gonna let this sit just for a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna let this sit for a minute because this is quite soft now because I was working with it. So let it sit, and it will be easier to shave off the pieces without it getting all sticky, sticking on my blade and then falling off and getting stuck onto the veneer here. Okay, so here I have my flexible blade, and I have a baby wipe and a bit of kitchen roll. This is just to keep my blade clean and let it go through the, let it slice easier. Now actually I'm going to cut off some of this excess. Let me just see where I want. I think I want here. So I'm going to cut off the extra clay I have and keep a clean edge. It's just easier when you're shaving, I think. Okay. So now how I do this is I just have my blade curved a little bit. Okay, and I use my pinkies as a guide. To keep my blade level. I'm not going to bother saving any of these. Now I'm probably going to lose the foil. I would like the foil to be in here to carry on the design, because the mica shift will have the design, but the black will not. But in saying that, I'm going to lose a lot of this because a lot of the foil, I know what I'm trying to say. My brain is working, my mouth's not keeping up with it. If I had to use this stamp here, which is the reverse of the one, this is the stamp of the stamp, these lines would be embedded, so it would be a nice perfect imprint of the foil into the black clay. But then also this would be all foil as well, so it's kind of So anyway, but again, the focus is on the mica shift. If I can at least keep that, some of the circles in the black, that'd be great. But we shall see. But I can control a lot of that when sanding. And that's another point as well. I don't want to, I'm being careful not to go too deep, first of all, because I can't put the clay back again. Also, when sanding, so I'm going to sand and buff this, there is going to, a lot of clay is going to come off. So I don't want to take off too much clay and then lose the design when sanding. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. Again, the silver is going to come off with sanding, okay? Now, give myself a clean. Now, I am going to give this a good burnish. Make sure my paper is clean. Again, the flatter I have it now, the easier it will be for sanding. The less sanding I'll have to do. I just have to get through that tiny bit of translucent that's left to get down to that silver foil and get rid of the silver foil that I don't want. And now I'm going to get this is my steel soap I'm going to use for doming, but I have an oval one. This is actually rather coarse. It's got a brush texture to it. So this one's really smooth. So I'm going to use this. Okay, that's good enough. Now I'm going to take my rigid blade. I'm going to shimmy this off my glass. Voila. Put it back on the paper. And give it another little burnish so it's nice and flat. Voila. And I'm just going to get my baby wipe. Give this a little wipe. And choose where, I'm going to have more black than I intended, but it's okay. The moon's at night, right? Like that. And I'll just get my block to save. This is rather sharp, save my hands. There we go. Okay, now on the steel soap, we're gonna find also when I start sanding, the black, see, it's already happening here. See, the black is coming through into the gray or the silver, and vice versa. So there should be more of a blend. It's not just so dark there. But if it is dark, I really don't mind. Okay, I think that looks like it's centered. And then from the center, gently tap out. So ensure that you're not stretching your circle, you're not distorting the shape, and also to make sure you don't get any air caught underneath. Now this I'm going to put in the oven. I have a little toaster oven, and it heats up really fast. So I'm going to put this in. It's not very thick. I'm going to put this in just for a half an hour, and then I'm going to give this a good sand, and then we'll come back. Actually, I'll probably finish this one off, and we'll probably I'll do the solar veneer off camera, and then we'll come back, and then I will put a backing on the solar one on camera. Okay, so I completed this one. This one is sanded up to 1000. I just gave it a buff with my rotary tool. I really like this one. I really do like this one. I just wish there's a bit more of the Cernit rust in this one. But anyway, so let's put a backing on it. I have my clay here rolled out onto a number 5. That's the thickness I like to use for my backing. I have my Cernit glue. I also have my aquarium sponge. These are great, I tell you, because I use it for my backing all the time because they're very forgiving. You don't have to have a nice smooth back. This gives a texture, and like I said, it's very forgiving, very quick. I store them in this container with basically half and half alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, or just rubbing alcohol, and water, and then just a little bit of dish soap. And you see, I give it a shake, and you can see all the clay just falls out to the bottom. Okay, so that's how I store it and clean it. Now, so I'm going to put the clay on the back of, put the clay, so the clay is resting on the back roller, and this is in the front, and I'm going to put this through the machine on a number 4. Okay, so the clay's on a 5, and bring the machine back to a 4, and put her through. And voila. And this is slightly damp as well, so it doesn't stick. Now let me get some paper. Okay, now I'm just going to get a rough idea of what I need. I don't want to be working with all this clay. So I'm quite simply just quickly going to get my scissors and just cut off the excess. Voila. All right, now we need liquid clay. Now you don't need too much. That's more than enough. Whoops. And just smear it around. And make sure you get the sides, because I'm going to bring the clay up around to make a frame. Okay. Shh. Now I'm just patting it down again with the aquarium sponge and patting it down around the sides. Right around the sides. And again, you take your time with this if you want to frame it like I want to, because you really want, and also because you want the clay to go around and really attach itself to the side here. And you also want to leave this for a couple of minutes because the glue will get tacky and it will hold better against the cured piece. Okay, and I'm going to take my needle tool. I'm going to give it lots of little pierces, so if we have any air in there, it has a place to escape while it's curing in the oven. All right, now I'm going to get my blade and on an angle slice. I'm slicing inwards towards the piece. I'm trying to coax, because I want, if I went like this, I'd be pulling the raw clay away. So I would do it this way, then I'm pushing the raw clay into the glue. Almost there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Any little bits that are not perfect, I will get off when sanding. Then you put this, I need to sand this again. Okay, I'm just going to take my aquarium sponge again and just gently tap it up again. Tap, tap. Again, you see I had a little bit of clay left there. That wouldn't be an issue. That could easily be scraped off after the piece is cured as well, because raw clay will not stick to cured clay just like on its own. So your piece wouldn't be ruined if you found, oh no, I left a bit of clay there and you didn't notice it. Okay, again, there's a little bit, oh, I'll just get this off now. All right, so there it is. Now, I think I like it this way. So I'm going to turn it around. Also, I don't want it to be the black on top, quite simply because I don't want it to be, it's really hard to judge with a tube bail from behind. So anyway, there I have where I'm going to put my tube bail. Okay, boop. Now, I pre-made these last night, quite simply because I like the clay to be a little bit old. It's easier to work with. It's not as squidgy. It won't get misshaped. Now, normally I use a 2 or 3 millimeter knitting needle, but I used to always use this 4 millimeter wooden skewer, and I really quite like it. So that's how I did that. Again, with with my aquarium sponge for texture. And I made two because I don't know which one I prefer. I think I'm going to go the shorter one. Now, this is raw. This is raw. So I'm not going to bother with any glue. You don't need any glue because you're attaching raw to raw. My only thing now is make sure I get it in the center. Okay, now with my larger needle tool, I am quite simply, just on the edge, I'm going to poke it down to secure the two clays. That's all you need to do. Because now you're making the both clays, the two clays, one. Okay, just one more on this side. Voila. Okay. Oh, and this tube bale, that clay for this was rolled out on a number 6. Now I want the tube bale to be coming out a little bit. I'm going to lay this down flat. So it's just going to flatten the tube bale a little bit, so it's not higher than the back. That didn't make much sense, but I know what I meant. Right, I have some logos that I made as well. I always pre-make my logos. I have a tutorial on how I make my logos. There we go. And I am quite simply, these were made on a number 8 actually. So these are quite thin. Right, so now let's just this over. Okay. Now, we do need glue for this because this is cured. And put just a little tiny dab. Just a little dab. That's all you need. And embed it in that. Nice and flat in there. All right, so there's the backing, tube bale, and the logo. So I'm going to put this in the oven. It's rather thin, so for half an hour at Cernit's recommended temperature, which is 130 Celsius. And I'm going to give it a good sand and buff and a polish. And there we go. Okay, I went ahead and started assembling the necklace, and then I thought, hold on, maybe you'd like to see. It's been a hot minute since I've assembled a necklace this way. So what I have here is 2mm Buna cord, and I have it cut on a real good slant. Okay, now I drilled holes in this. I think they're probably around about 2.5mm with my hand drill, and I'll show it to you. This little thing here. And I'm just going to put this through. I'm going to put those little ends together. And now I have, these are 3mm stainless steel spacer beads. I buy these off of N Beads. I swear by them, they're great. So stick this on. Push it down. Now, because this is 2mm Buna cord, 2 and 2 is 4, but because it's stretchy, the 3, you can stretch it over it, and then it holds it securely in place. So it's quite good. Now I made some beads. These are just wooden beads, and I just covered it with the veneer because I made another little pendant here with the bubble stamp. So I just rolled it around the bead. Now I'm just going to pull it again. I'm trying to keep these as laying flat. Now this here, this is a bit trickier. Squish and push. Squish. Do I have them both? I do. And then slide that down. Like that. And then slide on another spacer bead. And another spacer bead. Okay, now what did I cut this? I cut this one off at, I believe it was 20. Yeah, 20. So I'm gonna bring this down here. Bring this to 20. Okay, so let's bring this all the way down here. Get that. Best way to do it, go down to the very bottom and then pull. Now, where are we? 20. So here. Cut there. The pair of scissors. Now, actually I should have done it like that. That's fine. Okay, now I have 3mm end caps. I buy these also from End Beads. These are stainless steel. Again, these are 2 and 2 is 4, but you squish them together and they go in just fine. Now I want to make sure they'll fit in first before I apply any glue. And it does. Okay, so now I get my glue. Sorry, I need my light for this, guys. I usually do everything with my light in front of my face, but my magnifying glass. Right, now let's make sure these are lying nice and flat. Okay. Bunch these together right there. And then squish them into the end cap. There we go. Give that a minute to set. And we just pull our stainless steel bead. We'll just give that for a minute. Give that a minute first. Okay. All right. Then I made a 5mm. I have a 5mm extension chain. I just made a little charm, which is my little silver spacer beads, and a glass bead is half glass and half silver. Okay, put that back there now. Okay, and this is a 7mm jump ring, stainless steel jump ring, and voila. Voila. And close it up. And then gently push up our stainless steel spacer bead. And there we go. And for this side, I have a 1.1 millimeter, 1.1 centimeter, 11 millimeter lobster clasp. And this one is on, hold on a minute, now I'll just put this together. And this one is on a 5 millimeter, no, is it 5? It's a 6 millimeter jump ring, oval jump ring. Okay, there we are. So, okay, I'll finish off the other necklace and we'll come back for show and tell. Okay, we reached show and tell, but I just want to show you this before I show you the others. This is from my Cruising the Med tutorial. This was with Sculpey bronze and copper, and then this is Cernit turquoise green. And just to show you that you can use any color you want instead of black like I chose to use for this tutorial. Okay. Now, so the first one I made was this one you saw in the intro. I took a little bit, I sanded a little bit more and took the foil off. Nothing wrong with this one at all. I like the foil up here, but it doesn't do anything for me. It's just a bit boring. And the white, I mean, there is the mica shift in it, but it's just not jumping out at me. So I don't know if I like it enough to put it back on it. So I finish it off. Anyway, there's that. Then, of course, when we just assembled on camera, the lunar eclipse. Now, I really like this one. I really like this one. Here it is. And here is the back. I'll explain the back in a minute now. Yeah, I really like this one. This wasn't the look I was going for, but I just decided I really, really like the foil, so I left the foil on it. Okay. Now you can still see the mica shift and the fade, but just not as well because I have the foil on it. But again, I just really like this. Now the back, I have the backing clay is a mix of all these of these colors, and it came out. I always do a sample first, so it came out fine in the sample, and it worked perfectly with this. Now I didn't round it as I normally round my pendants, but again, anyway, that is that. Now for the solar eclipse, again, I left the foil because I just like the effect. I love this one. I really do. I wish I had a little bit more of the rust, the Cernit rust in this one. But I really, really, really like this one, okay? And I had this one on a tube bale. Oh, sure, we did this on camera. Anyway, so there it is. And I put this on a 3 millimeter Buna cord, and I have just a little magnetic clasp. But I put 0.6 millimeter tiger tail wire in the Buna cord, just to give it a bit more kind of bounce, so it just doesn't kind of drop, so it gives it a bit of, I know the word I'm looking for, but it's not coming out. Anyway, so there's those two. Now, I showed you now for the beads that I made this little one here. It's not very interesting. You know, I might do something with it, I might not, but just for now, it's going to go to the side. Because the technique, the look I was going for wasn't with the foil, or the whole thing with the foil, I made another one. And this, I really quite like. Again, I just love these colors. And this time I was able to keep a bit more of the rust in there. But yeah, here we go. And it's quite a large trinket dish, actually, because it's the circle cutter was 9 centimeters, so it's quite large. Now, the only problem with this one was when I finished, I was polishing on my desktop polishing machine. I caught the edge and it kind of burnt, so I need to sand again, and I really don't want to sand because I've had enough of sanding just now. So we have that. Then also, I made another one last night. I was just trying, because my original colors were yellow, Cernit rust, and the black. So I said, okay, let's try it. I'm going to try that out. And here it is. But it looks like the German flag. So I guess this would be the solar eclipse over Germany, right? And I just put this one on the other tube bale. I just cut the tube bale a bit shorter. And there we go. So there's that. But now, again, the problem is when I went to sand this, I had it all sanded, and then when I put it on my buffing machine, my polishing machine, must have been some dust or something in there, and I've got a little scratch in there. So again, I'm going to have to sand this down. Put a little bit of Cernit gel in there, cure it, and then sand again, and then hang it up. But for the photos for this tutorial, I'm going to just put it on a 3mm Bruno cord and just pretend that it's finished, but it actually is not. Again, I have to go and sand these two again because it's my own fault. I put too much pressure on the polishing wheel. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I did, even though it wasn't the direction I was going. I really love the foil. I really like the look of the foil on it. Okay, so saying that, if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. That would be great. And if you'd like to support my channel, consider becoming a member. I do a members only tutorial every month here on YouTube, and I'm also on Patreon. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.